Welcome to the Carnival Sunrise ship tour, where I'm going to provide you with an overview of the main areas on the ship just to give you a head start before you even begin your cruise on the Carnival Sunrise. And oh boy, here we go. Check these guys out. They're having a lot of fun up here as we're getting on the ship.
Oh, I see. I love the camera. I see one. Oh, yeah. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. Oh, now I found you. We're going to get closer and closer. Come on. Hey.
Okay, so we're going to start with deck 2. Underneath us is where you get off for going to Nassau or to Half Moon Cay or wherever it is that you're going on this ship. So we're just starting with deck 2, and the first thing here is the art gallery. So if you're looking for a piece where you can bring home and have just a nice memorabilia to hang on the walls, you can come in here and kind of check it out. They did have quite a few pieces here, so just take a look around and see if there's a piece that appeals to you. Okay, and then headed up to deck 3. I should say to the left you'll see these elevators, and then to the right there's more elevators, and of course in the center there's the deck plan, so you can kind of look and just see which floor you want to go to refamiliarize if you forget where you're going. I will say that we tended to take the stairs a lot more because the elevators were just jam-packed most times, and it was just a lot faster to take the stairs. So if you're able, I would encourage you just go ahead and take the stairs. Besides, it just helps you work off all that food that you're going to eat on this cruise. And trust me when I say there's a lot of amazing food on this cruise. So on deck 3, you have your guest services, and the thing I'll say about that is if the line is long, just come back. It's not always long, but when it's long, it does take a while to get through it. So if at all possible, I would just come back if you needed something from guest services. Over and up here to the left, through these doors, you're going to find your vaping/smoking areas. So if you are a vapor or a smoker, this is one of the areas where you can go. This is a more quiet area. It's just out to the left here. There is another area up on deck 10, but again, this is a quieter area. Deck 10 is a little noisier, but there's also, in my opinion, just an amazing view from up there as well. So that is a couple of areas that you can go to. Over here, you're going to see one of the main bars. And the thing to note is when you have the drink package, like just the sodas, you will go over to the bars, and this is where you're going to get your drinks from. So whether that be a Orange Crush or Mountain Dew or whatever it is that you're going to get, and they will typically open that can on the spot. So just know that. Here is one of the entrances to one of the restaurants where you can either schedule your dining time, or you can do my time dining and just go when you would like to go. It just means you might have to wait just a little bit to get in, but we were able to get right in when we went into the Sunshine. This is the Radiance, so you have Radiance on one side and then Sunshine on the other side of this center area of the ship. And then over here, you're going to see where you can actually schedule professional photos to be done. I wish I'd had a little bit more foresight on this myself, just because some of the photos that they were displaying were pretty neat. But by the time I really gave it any serious thought, yeah, I was already sunburned and disheveled, and frankly, I didn't bring any dressy clothes on this cruise because I really just had no plans on dressing up. This was a total vacay for us. And then over here on the opposite side from guest services, you're going to see the adventures where you can book your excursions and everything and go out and do things on like Nassau and Half Moon Cay. And then on up to deck 4, like I said, you know, we typically took the stairs just because it was a lot faster that way. You're gonna find lots of shops all up and down the sides of the ship. You're gonna find restaurants, lounges, and even where you pick up like your photos that you have done at the photo ops, and I'll show you where some of those are here in a bit. Here's the coffee shop. They actually made a pretty good coffee. They did not have whipped cream and caramel drizzle like I normally get from my Starbucks, but hey, it was actually pretty good. So I do recommend coming in here and getting you a specialty coffee. They were pretty tasty. And then here you can see, and this is actually along both sides of the ship where you can pick up those photos again from those photo ops. Those being separate from where I mentioned earlier, the professional photos. These are just like little spots along the ship where they have little scenes set up, you can get photos done. So those are fun. So this is where you can pick those up. And here on the other side, past the elevators. You are going to see more of these photos. I should also mention that down below where this main bar area is, sometimes they'll have live entertainment music there. So pretty fun. And then at the end of this side where these photos are, there's a little shop where you can buy all sorts of doodads and electronics for videos and stuff like that, and your cameras and everything. We did end up buying a GoPro, so that was pretty cool. Got a pretty decent price on it here. So check that out and see if there's something you can use there that you don't already have. And then up here is the actual second floor of the Radiance restaurant. Again, this is the other side where Sunshine is on one side and the Radiance is on the other. And then to the right here is the Fahrenheit. I didn't go in here. It just felt a little funny about walking in when we were not doing the specialty dining. But just so you know, this is where the Fahrenheit restaurant is. And then take a look here at the Radiance restaurant. This really is a beautiful restaurant, and I really enjoyed when we ate on the Sunshine side, which is very similar to this Radiance side, and we just enjoyed all of the food, the courses and everything. And don't worry, I will post a separate video on what our meal experience was over on the Sunshine side later, so just stay tuned for that. Okay, and so on to deck 5, again with the stairs. So up here you're gonna find the casino, a bunch of bars, and for restaurants, specifically the sushi, which is a specialty dining, but the price wasn't bad and the food was really good. And again, just like the other restaurant, I will post another video later on just to show you more about the sushi place. And then there's the arcade, a bunch of photo op places, and then a little bit of shopping. And again, down here is where I mentioned earlier where you can see some of that live entertainment. So lots of viewing places when you want to go see the live entertainment that they may have. One thing I thought was really cool was that they had a dedicated bar for our veterans called Heroes. As a former military member myself, I just thought this was really neat that they do this. Out of respect for my brothers and sisters in arms, I did not go poking around in there and just respected their privacy there, but just know that it's there. Really cool that they have it. And over here to the left, you're gonna see one of the mini shops where you can go in and just get like mementos or bags or clothes, even like some sunscreen, so lots of miscellaneous items in there. And then at certain times, they also had tables set up outside of the shop with some clearance items on them, but of course you could get some of these items in the store as well. And then up here a little further on the left is where you can actually go in and get alcohol, spirits, that sort of thing. And then up here is the Liquid Lounge, where the Limelight Lounge is down below on the previous deck. This is the Liquid Lounge, and we actually went in here and played bingo and had a great time doing that. Got a scratch off ticket, won like $7, and went and blew the whole $7 on the slot machines. But hey, at least we only spent $7 on the slot machines. And here's the other side where you can go into the Liquid Lounge. And then just some award displays and things they have here if you want to stop and take a gander at those. And then to the left here, you'll see this stand, and they had a couple of people standing out there handing out little trinkets and stuff that go on bracelets, so that was kind of fun. And then inside, of course, here is one of my favorite places to go, which was a jewelry shop. I don't typically buy a lot of jewelry, but I do love the sparkles, and I did end up getting a couple of really nice pieces when I went in. So that was a lot of fun. Also, our son ended up getting a chronograph watch while we were in there, and we got basically like a rundown lesson from one of the salespeople on how to use that watch. So just a fun educational experience that we had when we went into the shop. Everybody was really super helpful. Of course they are, because they want to make a sale, but still, even so, they weren't pushy like a lot of the places were that we went to in Nassau. So just a really great experience. And then here is one of the other little shops that we really loved, Cherry on Top, where they had a lot of like little Dr. Seuss memorabilia and like candy and stuff like that. Just a fun little shop. And then back over here to the left on the other side of the jewelry stores where you can find colognes and perfumes. I personally have way more than I need or use, so I didn't go in. And then up ahead here is the game arcade, where there are a ton of choices of games to play, both for the kids and the adults, if that's something that you like to do. Personally, I do. I love the game Skee Ball, and they have one of those here, so that's fun. So again, just a really fun thing to do for both the kids and the adults, maybe during sea days, or maybe when you're not doing anything else like Nassau or Half Moon Cay or something like that. Lots of stuff to do here, lots of choices of games to play. And on to the casino, where you can spend none, a little, or a lot of money if you like. I am personally not a big gambler because I know myself, and that is a trap that is easy for me to fall into. But if you're better than I, and this is something you enjoy doing, there are tons of games to play here. Lots and lots of slot machines, contest games like drop and grab things, and card games. There's all kinds of stuff to do here. And then up over here on the right hand side is where you have to go cash in. When we won on our scratch ticket for bingo, that's where we had to take it to cash it in. So lots of options here, lots of fun things to do if you were somebody who's better than me at gambling. Now here's where you're going to start to see a lot of these photo ops, where you can go and have these backgrounds, different types of backgrounds and pictures done. And through here is the sushi bar that I mentioned earlier. This is where I'm going to do a separate video for this, just to give you kind of a fuller review. We really enjoyed Bonsai Sushi. It was just a really neat place to sit down and eat actual sushi. We really enjoyed that. My husband's not much of a sushi eater. Well, none at all really, but he was able to get a beef dish. So, but again, I'll do another video on that, so keep an eye out for that. And then up here, you're going to start to see some of the bars. You've got the Red Frog Pub to the right, and then you have the right in front of that, you're going to have the piano bar to the right, and then you're going to have Alchemy Bar up ahead. And actually right about this spot, I had somebody stop me and ask me what I was doing, what I had, meaning the gimbal that I was using to record on my phone for this. So I was just kind of explaining to him like where you get one. I ordered mine on Amazon. We do have a DJI, and I will drop the link for the DJI model that we got down in the comments below. So if you're interested in looking at what gimbal we're using, or you need one for yourself, I will drop my Amazon link down below. That is from our Amazon affiliate. So that'll be there. And so over here to the Red Frog Pub, they have karaoke and stuff like that here at night. A lot of fun, a lot of noise, but a lot of fun coming out of here when everybody's in here at night doing their karaoke. And actually up here on the left-hand side at the end of the Red Frog Pub is where they set up a Dr. Seuss photo op that we took our son to and had a lot of fun with. And then in here is the piano bar, where they will at times have live entertainment inside of here. As of right now, when I went in here, it was just completely empty, but they do have live entertainment in here at times. And then here's the Alchemy Bar to the left. And just remember that you can get, when you have the Bubbles drink package and you have sodas and everything, this is where you're going to go, is all of these different bars throughout the ship where you can get those drinks. And as I mentioned several times earlier, we typically took the stairs, but because I was passing up decks 6, 7, and 8, which are all cabins, I went ahead and took the elevator. And you can see this is actually pretty light for the elevators. And even then there's a number of people on this one elevator. So that's why we typically would take the stairs in most cases. So up the elevator we go, where we're gonna find the Lido deck, the movie screen, lots of pool and water features, lots of restaurants, and some of the bars. Just a lot to do on this deck. Momentarily, you'll see the main dining area to the left, but it's also to the right. There's another entrance to the main dining area, and just know across from this area here, there is a specialty coffee kind of tucked away in the corner when you first walk in on the opposite side. So this is just one big dining area where you can come in and grab your food from the buffet and just have a seat inside if you don't want to go outside and eat. Along these hallways, there are a couple of other restaurants as well, but this is the main buffet area here. And, you know, so they have meals throughout different times of the day, your breakfast, your dinner, and all that. And I have to say, we really did enjoy a lot of the food that we got from the buffet. Of course, we ate at other restaurants on the ship too, but for the ease of the buffet, and even though the lines looked long, they actually moved pretty quick. And they also had like just a lot of variety and desserts and things like that as well. Up here to the where I just showed to the left, that is where you would go up to the Italian restaurant. We did not get a chance to try that, but that's where you're gonna find that at. And also just know that there are actually two sides where you can come in on the buffet and grab your food, and they are the same. So it doesn't matter which side you come in at. And then, as I mentioned, there are restaurants up and down the sides here. So here's Lucky Bowl, and then on the other side, in the hallway on the other side, is one of the sandwich deli places. And then also you're gonna see ice cream stations placed on the sides of these as well. And here they are. So you can come up here and just get all the ice cream that you want. And then up here to the left is where you're gonna find Guy's Burgers. Now, everybody raves about these, and I will say it's just, in my honest opinion, they were okay, but there's a lot of hype. So are they good burgers? Yes, they are. But there were other things on the ship that I liked better. Even one of Guy's other restaurants, the Pig and Anchor, that to me, in my opinion, was an absolutely amazing experience for the smoked food that they served. And then over here is where we typically sat on these bar stools, and it was just a nice view to watch as we sat and ate our burgers. And again, I don't mean to knock the burgers, they were good. Just there was a lot of hype about them. And then over here you see the movie theater, and then of course the pool, and then to the right where you just saw, that's where the waterworks is, the ground level of the area for the kids to go and play in the water. Back to Guy's Burgers. There was usually a pretty long line there, I have to say. This is pretty darn short for what was normally there. Again, there's the pool and the waterworks, and then the slide, you have to go up higher to get on that, of course. And then to the left was Blue Iguana. That was the first meal I ate when I went on the ship, and it was pretty decent. Would I call it authentic? Not so much, but it was pretty decent. Not bad for our first meal. We were starving and ready to eat when we first got on the ship. And then over here is another one of the bars. Again, this is another place that you can get sodas on your Bubbles package. I will say though that when I did go over to this area to get our sodas a couple of times, I noticed that it was definitely much more busy than the other bars where we could go get our sodas at. So I would advise kind of avoiding that particular one and go to the other ones to get your drinks. And then on this other side, here's the other ice cream station that I mentioned. So you can come over here and get the free ice cream whenever you want. And then this is the other hallway on the other side where you're going to find that deli restaurant that I mentioned earlier. And then if you keep walking past here, you're back into the main dining area. And then passing through that main dining area, as I mentioned on the other side, is more restaurants. And I have to say that one of our absolute favorite places to eat was here at the Pizzeria de Capitano. They just had amazing pizza. They hand tossed their pizza, and they were open until like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And so we could come down late at night and grab a pizza for ourselves. And even when we were stuffed full, we'd still want to come down and get the pizza because it was just so good and so tasty. And here is the bar that we usually ended up getting our drinks at. And as I mentioned earlier, they do like to open those. Now, there was a couple times where I did ask them if they would not do that because I wanted to take it back to my room and stick it in the fridge. And they did comply, but they explained that normally they have to open those drinks in front of you. And one thing I will mention, I did not get it on video and I wished I had so I could show you. One of my favorite things to do was to take an orange crush and go over to there's yet another ice cream station to the right over here, and I would basically make like a floating orange crush soda, and it was just super tasty. So if you get a chance to try that, I highly recommend getting an orange crush soda with some vanilla ice cream, just super yummy. Here's one of their other restaurants. This is a pay restaurant, specialty restaurant, so we did not try this. Our goal really was to try all of the free food and just see, do we really need the specialty dining? The only exception was we did get the sushi, but outside of that, we did all of the free dining. So looks super tasty. We'll probably try that next time, but just know that you can eat on these cruise ships and have really good food without the specialty dining. That's just a bonus when you get it. And here's the ice cream station that I mentioned that I would mix the ice cream with my orange crush. Super yummy. And on up to deck 10. This is where you're gonna see waterworks and a bunch of restaurants. And while I mentioned waterworks on deck 9, you could see it, you actually have to come up to deck 10 to get to the floor of waterworks. And then of course up higher, which I'll show you later, where you can get to the actual slides. This was a great viewing deck, both in the day and night, just to get some beautiful views. And then up here ahead is that area on deck 10 that I mentioned that is the vaping and smoking area. So if you're not a vapor or a smoker, you may want to go around on the other side so that you aren't walking through that entire area over here. And then up to the left, I'll come back to that later. That's some of the fun stuff. So, and through here you can actually see the Italian restaurant that I mentioned, the upper floor of it to the left. And as I mentioned, this is the smoking / vaping area up here on deck 10. If you want a quieter area, that's down on the opposite side of the ship on deck 3. And as I mentioned, if this is something that bothers you, not being a smoker or a vapor, you may want to go around on the other side of the ship to get to this end of the ship where the theater and water part is. And over here on this side, you're gonna find Guy's Pig and Anchor, and it was honestly one of my favorite restaurants to eat at on the entire ship. And frankly, I think it's a little underrated. And I don't know if that's because of the limited hours they have, which by the way, they're only open for lunch on the embarkation day and on sea days from like 12 to 2:30. So I would encourage you to get this food while you can. I loved everything that I tried on the menu, and they offered chicken and beef and pork, and the greens that I also ordered with that were honestly just as good as any of the meat that I tried on the menu. So it is a definite must do when you are on one of the Carnival ships that has this restaurant. And then headed towards the forward of the ship, we're gonna see decks 11, 12, and 14, with notably there is no deck 13 on the ship. Of course, this goes back to most ships and buildings not having a floor 13 because of thoughts, beliefs, superstitions of bad luck with having a 13th floor of any kind. And on up to deck 11, where you're going to find the fitness center, the salon, the spa, and the spa cabins, which are completely separate from the rest of the ship, through that door up ahead. I did not go tour these areas, but just know that that is where you will find those areas of the ship. Here's where you'll see the slides come down and meet the waterworks area below. And as I mentioned, the entrance to the slides is up on deck 14. We'll get to that momentarily. Right now, headed up to deck 12. This is where you're gonna find the kids clubs and also the lower portion of the Serenity area, which is the adults only area. If you're concerned that those areas might intermingle because of the close proximity, as I was exploring the adults only area, I did not see a single child in those areas. I do not think that that would be a concern. While the views were nice pretty much from all areas of the ship, I really enjoyed the views from the higher decks on the ship where you could just see everything from up high. And here's deck 14, where you're gonna find both the main entranceway to the adults only area for Serenity, as well as being able to get down to that lower level of it. And then off to the right over here is where you're going to find the entrances to the slides, which land down in the waterworks area. And another great hello from another awesome crew member. I got several of these as I was walking around the ship recording. There are definitely plenty of amenities up here in the adults only area, such as the showers, which can come in really handy given that down on the lower side of the Serenity deck, there is a jacuzzi. There's also plenty of seating where you can just kick back, relax, and enjoy the sun. There's also some covered areas out here on the main deck area of the adults only area. I have to say, when I was up here exploring this area of the ship, I felt it was truly aptly named for what it is, Serenity. It was so quiet and peaceful, and just looking out at the views of the ocean, just simply amazing. And as if it couldn't get any better, not only was it so peaceful up here, but there was a rainbow in the distance. It just doesn't get any better than that. And as I mentioned earlier, there is a lower level to the Serenity area. And as you see down here, more seating areas, even a covered area and a jacuzzi down here. And you get to it by going down these stairs right here. And going back to the rainbow, here it is again. I just simply could not get enough of this rainbow. Just being up on this top deck, feeling the wind, seeing the ocean, and this beautiful rainbow on the water. Just amazing. Okay, back over here to deck 10. We're going to take a quick stop on deck 11 and then hop on up to deck 12 so that I can show you what's up there, and then we will head back down to deck 11 so I can show you what's on the other side. Here you're going to see part of that running path that is on deck 11 that we're going to come back down to here shortly. And here, heading up to deck 12 is where you're actually going to find the mini golf course. Now, I will say that depending on what the wind is doing at any given moment, you may or may not be able to successfully play this. We did try to play, and it was a little windy when we had time to play, but we had a lot of fun trying. We weren't really great at it, but again, we had fun trying. If you want to see a little bit of that humor, you can go check out our other video where we are attempting to play. This is also another really great area to get some beautiful views of what's around you, and it's also another great spot for some good photo ops. We got some great pictures from up here on this level. And on back down to deck 11, as I mentioned earlier, and you can see here is part of that running path. And if you keep on going down here, you're going to see some other activities to do. And up here, you're gonna see the sports complex. So you have the court where you can get out there and play some ball. There's some cornhole, and then just beyond that is the ropes course where you can get in there and strap in and get some fun exercise walking those paths. I hope that you have enjoyed our tour of the Carnival Sunrise. And if you found this helpful, please give our video a like and consider subscribing to our channel to stay in touch with the tips, tricks, and information that we will share on the destinations that we specialize in. Some of those destinations are Disney, Universal, many of the cruise lines, all-inclusive vacations, and more. When you're ready to book your vacation, please visit us on the web at dreamversetravel.com and schedule your time with one of our personal travel advisors to plan your next amazing vacation. And by the way, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button.